Chapter 8 Robbery. Damn, go and chase the fatty. Why are you chasing after me? Lin Xiu turned his head as he ran and immediately saw that the color-changing python was chasing after him. Yang Tian kept running as well, and when he turned his head, he realized that Lin Xiu was already running in the direction toward the deeper part of the woods. He wanted to warn Lin Xiu that he was running in the wrong direction, but he had already disappeared. Eh? It's gone? Lin Xiu used his utmost effort and ran quite a distance. When he turned around, he realized that the giant python was gone. However, Lin Xiu didn't dare to be too careless. This color-changing python could camouflage into the surroundings after all. This was the scariest part. It might be hiding somewhere, waiting to mount a sneak attack on him. Just as Lin Xiu was catching his breath for a second, he realized that there were several people ahead. These people were in battle robes, but their robes were clearly different from the one that Lin Xiu was wearing. Also, they had all sorts of weapons in their hands. One of them was even carrying the corpse of an evolved beast. These people looked very strong, and they were clearly all official warriors. Oh, from Xingyao Academy? The leader of the group looked at Lin Xiu's battle robe and raised his brows. Lin Xiu knew that he was at the wrong place at this moment. These people were obviously an adventure team, and they were official warriors. If they wanted to kill Lin Xiu, he wouldn't be able to fight back at all. This was really bad. Big brothers, I was just passing by, said Lin Xiu with a smile. He's just a poor guy, huh? A man carrying a huge blade walked over and sized Lin Xiu up. There was a hint of murderous intent in his eyes, and he looked terrifying. Leave your battle blade behind, and you may leave. Sure. Lin Xiu clenched his fists. Without his battle blade, it would be equivalent to losing his combat strength. Although he was unwilling, he didn't have any other choice. Bring it over, that man sneered, then reached out and snatched the battle blade from Lin Xiu's hand. The second he grabbed the battle blade from Lin Xiu's hand, he grinned and wanted to swing the battle blade at Lin Xiu. Hiss! Right then, a horrifying sound was heard. Lin Xiu immediately felt a chill down his spine, and he instinctively pounced to the side. That guy, who snatched Lin Xiu's battle blade away, was bitten at the waist directly by a huge mouth covered in blood. Ah! That guy was clearly caught off guard and was torn up by the color-changing python. Lin Xiu, who pounced to the side, broke out in cold sweat. This was simply too dangerous, and if he hadn't been on his guard just now, these people from the adventure team were startled as well. The color-changing python's body was emerald green in color, similar to the surrounding trees. Also, this evolved beast seemed to be great at hiding, and these warriors came to their senses only then. It is a rank 3 evolved beast, the color-changing python, a guy cried out when he saw the terrifying scene. Color-changing python, the guys gasped. This color-changing python wasn't the strongest type, but it was quite terrifying. Its skin that could camouflage into its surroundings allowed it to become a killer. The guy who snatched Lin Xiu's battle blade away was already swallowed into the color-changing python's mouth. Its head was enormous, and it flicked out its blood-red tongue. It appeared extremely threatening as it stared at everyone with its red eyes. A guy with a giant sword glanced at his teammates and shouted, "Get rid of it! The odd crystal of a rank 3 evolved beast, and the skin of this python could sell for millions." The few people's eyes lit up when they heard him. As the saying goes, birds die in pursuit of food, and humans die in pursuit of wealth. At this moment, they were very excited. It seemed like because of the appearance of this color-changing python, that group of people had forgotten about Lin Xiu, who was hiding at the side. Lin Xiu crouched over there and looked at the situation through the bushes. The analytic eye was activated, and he could see that those men were rank 1 warriors. Warriors were ranked 1 to 9, and rank 9 warriors were the strongest. It was said that the strength of a rank 9 warrior was equivalent to having an additional nuclear weapon in the country. The man with the giant sword had already charged over and brandished his giant sword. It was as if the surrounding air was stirred up. Then he directly aimed at the color-changing python. The color-changing python moved very swiftly in this forest, and when the man slashed his sword toward its body, it dodged it immediately. Then it opened its big mouth and wanted to swallow that man. Just then, one of the men with a muscular body rushed over. He had steel fists over his hands that were covered with spikes, and he punched the head of that python. What? But that python wasn't hurt by his punch at all. Instead, it flung its tail and sent the muscular man flying. A man's eyes narrowed and several daggers flew out of his hand. Swish, swish, swish. The daggers cut through the air. They were originally targeted at the python's eyes, but in this instant, the python's body moved and it instead got stabbed at the bottom of its neck. Hiss! The bottom of its neck wasn't protected by scales, so the dagger pierced through very easily. This made the python furious in an instant. With a bang, its tail flung hard. At this moment, that huge tree behind these people was snapped off directly. Damn it! Witnessing this scene, Lin Xiu's eyes constricted, and he quickly rolled over to hide. That huge tree nearly fell onto him. Ah! Roared the man with the steel gloves, and the muscles on his body bulged. He charged at the color-changing python to strike wildly at its body. He was trained in melee combat, and at that moment his rapid punch made the air crackle. Bang, bang, bang. When the color-changing python was attacking his teammate, his fist had landed on the python's head. After being hit so hard consecutively, that color-changing python seemed slightly dizzy. Good chance! The man with the huge sword quickly charged over and was aiming to pierce the python's vital part. Poof! But he didn't expect that the snake would actually spit out a large amount of green substance. He was caught off guard and got contaminated by the green substance. He howled in anguish as his body corroded very quickly. Attack its vital part quickly!